What's up with the squad? It's your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies, and you already know what time it is. Welcome back to CessTalksSports, BWISE PoliSports Tea Time, where we don't just break down the game, we expose the systems behind the scoreboard. If you're new to the fam, hit that subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with your people, because this one is cut different. We're not just talking basketball. This is about image, influence, and how power moves get made in plain sight. We're taking a hard look at the Chicago Sky, and it ain't just about missed shots or sideline energy. This runs way deeper. This is what happens when your reputation becomes your liability. In the dub, just like in life, your name is currency. It decides who rocks with you, who distances themselves, who's willing to build, and who dips before the blueprint even unfolds. And right now, Chicago ain't known for building anything sustainable. They known for control, instability, and trying to mask dysfunction with optics. Let's call it what it is, the politics of reputation, that unspoken language of leadership. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about how you move when the lights ain't on. It's how you treat your people. It's how you handle pressure. It's whether the players in the system trust the ones running it. Because when your brand gets a rep for being messy, selfish, and short-sighted, no amount of draft picks or marketing dollars can save that. You can't build a dynasty in quicksand. The Sky got talent. They got a major market. But what they don't got, trust, stability, leadership that centers the players. So we unpacking all of that. No sugarcoat, no spin, just truth, accountability, and clarity. Because that's what the culture deserves. Now I'm going to pass the mic to my co-host, the one who always comes with the receipts, the insight, and the pressure, Political Lil. What's going on, fam?
What's going on, Cess? Cess, what you're saying is critical because the Sky's biggest opponents ain't the schedule. It's in their front office. And let's keep it a buck. Chicago Sky been operating like a team more obsessed with controls and culture. And that's the death sentence in today's athletic-led era. We're living in a time where elite players aren't just looking for a check. They're looking for alignment. They want transparency, respect, and organizations that treat them like partners and not property. But what we're seeing with the Sky is an obsession with dominance, controlling coaches, micromanaging staff, and pushing out franchise players who don't submit. The result, a revolving door of talent. Think about it. Candace Parker gone. Fowles gone. Cappy Pondexter, Deladon. These are Hall of Fame players gone. Kalia Copper, Courtney Williams, and other players from a championship caliber team, all gone. That's not just bad luck. That's a branding crisis. And yet, instead of doing the internal work to clean house and rebuild trust, this organization keeps spinning the narrative. They push players out and then blame chemistry. They bring in elite rookies and then throw them under the bus when things get tense. That ain't strategy. That's sabotage wrapped in PR.
Now, before anybody tries to spin this as some locker room drama or make it all about Angel Reese, let's stop the noise and run the tape. This didn't start with Angel. And trust, it's not ending with her either. The chaos in Chicago ain't new. It's legacy dysfunction. We're talking about one of the most unstable franchises in WNBA history. Since their launch in 2006, the Sky been shaky. From 2006 to 2012, they missed the playoffs 7 years straight. That's not a slump. That's a pattern. They had legends in the building. Candace Dupree, Sylvia Fowles, Courtney Vandersloot. And what did the front office do with all that generational talent? Fumbled it. Let it walk. Let it rot. Let it lead. Every single time. Because even back then, the problem wasn't the players. It was the power structure. Coaches came and went. GMs shuffled in and out. The front office treated stability like an accessory, not a foundation. No system, no long-term identity, just turnover, ego, and short-sighted decisions. And when your roots ain't solid, you can't grow nothing. Not a team, not a culture, not a damn thing. This ain't about one player. This is about a franchise addicted to dysfunction. And no matter who they draft, sign, or hype, that chaos gonna catch up every time unless the system gets checked.
Exactly, Cess. But let's fast forward to what looked like a turning point, the James Wade era. From 2018 to 2023, Wade actually brought vision and structure to the Sky. He pulled the team together, signed key veterans, and in 2021, boom, WNBA champions. It was a Cinderella run, but that cracked real quick. Wade left in the middle of the 2023 season for an NBA assistant job. And ever since then, it's been pure free fall. Front office scrambling, players exiting, and bad press stacking up. They couldn't keep Candace Parker, a homegrown superstar talent. They couldn't hold on to Kalia Copper. And their next move, hiring WNBA legend Teresa Weatherspoon as head coach in 2024, only to fire her after one season. You don't even give a black woman one full rebuild cycle before you give chaos full control. And that says it all. And now here we are, 2025, under coach Tyler Marshall. Team off to a rocky start, 2-6. And now they're currently 3-9. And the media is already circling Angel Reese like she's the problem. Nah, this ain't about rebounding percentages. This is about reputation rot from the top down.
Yep, now you said it. Let's go ahead and name the diversion tactic that's playing out in real time. Angel Reese is being set up as a scapegoat. And see, we've seen this movie before. It's a classic misdirection strategy. When leadership is fumbling, when culture is collapsing, and when systems are broken, the easiest thing to do is blame the black woman with the biggest spotlight. Let's be clear. Statistically, Angel Reese is holding it down. She's not just showing up in box scores. She's showing up in rebounds, energy, leadership, and community engagement. But what's the media saying? That she's a distraction, that she's too emotional, that her brand is bigger than the team. Sound familiar? This is what the WNBA and honestly every major sports league does to black women who refuse to shrink. Instead of asking why the team can't keep elite talent or why the Sky have more coaches than wins this season, the narrative becomes, is Angel Reese the problem? Nah, fam, she's not the problem. She's the mirror. And some folks in that front office don't like what they see.
Says, let's call it what it is. This is character assassination wrapped in a sports commentary. Angel came into this league with a brand, a fan base, and a level of attention that the franchise should have embraced. But instead of protecting that, instead of building around that, they're letting her become the public shield for a failing front office. And what's worse is that they're trying to control the narrative by leaking negative sentiment through backdoor channels. Coaches making coded comments, media folks planting doubts, and fans eating up the context. Meanwhile, this is a player who consistently delivers. So ask yourself, if a second-year player that is producing becomes the villain, what's the organization really afraid of? It ain't about stats. It's about structure and power. And when a confident black woman doesn't play the good soldier role, she gets rebranded as chaos. But truth is, she's the cover for theirs.
All right, let's really talk about what's dragging the Chicago Sky down. It ain't a talent issue. It's a leadership problem. And not just any kind. It's that toxic, controlling, ego-first energy that kills everything good. The Sky don't got a rep for greatness. They got a rep for being one of the most chaotic, micromanaged franchises in the league. This ain't hearsay. That's history. That's patterns. That's receipts. They out here getting pressed for promising a flashy new practice facility, selling dreams of investment in infrastructure, but folks inside the system still call this a cheap team. Not just because of dollars, but because of how they treat people. Let's look at the moves. They traded Marina Mabrey, gone. Let Kalia Copper walk, finals MVP, a locker room cornerstone, and the face of the franchise, gone. And why? Because the front office didn't know how to build trust? Because they couldn't get her something to eat? They build walls instead. They treat their stars like they're disposable, not foundational. This ain't about basketball IQ. This is about emotional immaturity at the top. When your leadership is more obsessed with control than connection, more focused on optics than outcomes, you're going to lose people every time. You can't control your way into greatness. You got to cultivate culture, not choke it out. And until the Sky figure that out, the chaos will keep calling the plays.
Cess, authoritarian leadership is the opposite of what today's athletes respond to. Now let's break this down psychologically. Leaders who over control are usually operating from fear of losing power, fear of being challenged, fear of the players knowing their worth and demanding more. But when you run a team like a dictatorship, you create instability. That's why the Sky have had multiple coaches in just a few seasons. Teresa Weatherspoon was fired after 1 year, and now they're on to Tyler Marsh. Who's next? And you think elite free agents don't see this? You think agents aren't whispering? Don't go to Chicago. It's a mess. The result is predictable. Franchise players leave, culture never develops, and no one with options wants to stay. Control freak leadership might win you a few headlines, but it won't win you a locker room. In modern sports world, players want collaboration. They want transparency, and above all, they want respect. Chicago Sky ain't lost because of talent. They're lost because of the ego of the front office, and that's a culture killer.
Here's where it all comes together, y'all. This ain't just about mistakes, it's about messaging. Because in the world of professional sports, your reputation is your currency. And right now, the Chicago Sky are spending theirs recklessly. Let's be real. The Sky have built a brand, not of excellence, not of innovation, but of dysfunction and instability. That's what players see. That's what fans feel. That's what agents whisper about behind closed doors. Now they calling it out on social media. You can't call yourself a champion contender when your defining trait is turmoil. When every year brings a new coach, a new drama, another star gone, your reputation speaks louder than any hype video you can put out. And the most dangerous part, once dysfunction becomes part of your brand, it becomes self-reinforcing. Players stop taking your calls. Fans disengage. Sponsors hesitate. The culture eats your strategy alive.
Says that's why this ain't about basketball. It's about institutional credibility. When your reputation is one of chaos and control, you don't just lose games. You lose the ability to attract the kind of talent that changes your future. Chicago is a top market, big city, huge media, great fan potential. But none of that matters if you're offering players, only thing you offering players is instability, mismanagement, and PR blame games. And let's not forget, reputation politics are racialized too. When Black women like Angel Reese are framed as problems and upper management remains unaccountable, it signals to other players that this organization will not protect you, build around you, or let you lead. You want to win this league in this league today, you need trust, vision, and culture. Not spin, not scapegoat, not surveillance. Until the Sky changes the story they're telling through their actions, they will continue to be the league's cautionary tale. And no amount of fresh uniforms or media distraction will fix that.
Before we bring this full circle, let's zoom out real quick. Because what's going down in Chicago ain't some isolated mess. This is part of a bigger pattern in sports across the board. When leadership starts prioritizing control over connection, optics over honesty, ego over ecosystem, things fall apart. And not quietly, loud, public, messy, every single time. Let's run back Marina Mabry. Came into Chicago with grit, game, leadership potential. A hooper who could have been a cornerstone maybe. But what did they do? Misused her, undervalued her, then flipped her like she was the problem. That's not just bad management. That's a red flag for how this franchise operates. That's not an isolated L either. That's a systemic issue. You bring in real talent, don't build nothing around them, create chaos, then send them packing and spin the media narrative. It's a playbook, a tired one. And folks are finally seeing through the smoke. And it ain't just women's basketball. Globally, you got countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia throwing billions at sports to scrub their names clean, trying to control the story through sponsorships and spectacle. But money can't erase everything. You might fool the surface level media, but the people always peep game. And when that trust breaks, the blowback don't just hit your brand, it hits your legacy, cultural, financial, generational. Control might get you the headlines, but the damn show won't build respect.
And let's not forget FIFA, one of the most powerful sports institutions on earth, embroiled in bidding scandals, bribery, and OPEC power grabs. That's what happens when a governing body becomes more committed to its image than its integrity. Sound familiar? Because what happened to Teresa Weatherspoon in Chicago fits right into the lineage. You hire a legendary coach, give her a half of a season in a rebuilding year, then fire her without barely a statement. That's not leadership. That's short-term PR cleanup over long-term development. These are all case studies in what happens when authoritarian instincts override institutional wisdom. When decision makers value control over trust, optics over development, and compliance over collaboration, they get short-term headlines and long-term rot. The lesson here, whether it's the Sky, Saudi Arabia, or FIFA, when you center power instead of people, your reputation don't protect you, it betrays you.
Let's go ahead and name what's really behind the mess. The money. Because if you still think reputation is just about headlines or locker room vibes, nah, fam, this is business. Reputation is currency. And when yours is trash, it gets expensive real quick. With Chicago Sky, that rep for dysfunction, micromanagement, and not taking care of players, that ain't just costing games. It's costing opportunities. Sponsorships dry up, fan energy dips, Ticket sales get shaky. Media deals stop hitting the same. People talk. Agents always listening. Brands always watching. And when the word on the street is that your team don't treat stars right, don't protect black women, and runs talent out the door, nobody with real leverage is signing up for that. Not players, not coaches, not corporate partners. That's why this ain't just a basketball issue. It's a revenue issue, a brand integrity issue. A rep for chaos and stingy leadership don't just block wins, it blocks wealth. You can't be the cheap team with high expectations. That's like trying to sell a house with busted pipes and a hole in the roof, but still asking for the top dollar. You know what I'm saying? Trying to live that champagne life on a beer budget. Make it make sense.
Let's contrast that with a team that gets it right, the New York Liberty. That franchise rebuilt its rep by getting serious about culture, communication, and care. They hired a top-tier front office, made international moves, created a player-centered environment. And guess what? Free agents came running. Breanna Stewart didn't go to New York because of the subway system. She came for stability, vision, and respect. Sponsors followed. Ticket sales surged. The vibe shifted. That's the playbook Chicago should be studying. Not how to control players, but how to collaborate with them. The future of sports business is clear. Reputation isn't PR, it's power. And when you build the wrong kind of brand, you pay for it in every corner of your operation. Chicago got a city, the talent, and the market. But until they fix the culture, they'll keep losing to teams that don't just build rosters, but build trust.
Before we close this out, we got to name who keeps getting the keys to the kingdom and why the same bad decisions keep recycling season after season. This ain't just bad luck. This is a whole culture problem. The Chicago Sky and plenty of other orgs just like them keep hiring the same type of folks. Power hungry, insecure, control freaks with no vision, no trust, and zero ability to build with people. Not leaders, gatekeepers. What they call experience is really just recycled ego. They don't build teams, they build echo chambers. And when you start stacking your front office with folks like that, you don't get one bad hire. You get a whole franchise allergic to growth. These people don't collaborate, they dictate. They don't nurture talent, they stifle it. They don't invest, they hoard power. They see brilliance as a threat, not a blessing. So what happens, top tier players dip, good coaches walk, and innovation gets choked out before it ever has a shot. That's not a one-off, that's a broken pipeline. And until somebody at the top breaks that pattern, this cycle gonna keep spinning and the culture gonna keep bleeding.
And Cess, what's wild is that these folks gravitate towards each other. It's like a magnet. They form organizations where control is celebrated, not questioned. So instead of building a place where players and coaches can thrive, they create a fortress. Everything becomes about keeping order, maintaining hierarchy, and suppressing dissent. And here's the kicker. Players today see that. They sense it. They talk about it in group chats, in tunnel combos, with agents and with other vets. And when they see their energy, they dip. What we're witnessing with the Chicago Sky is not a talent problem. It's a temperament problem. And until the franchise does the work of confronting that culture, that dysfunction will keep cycling itself with new names and the same outcome. The WNBA can't grow if teams are still stuck in 1999 management models. It's time to stop hiring for control and start building for connection.
All right, y'all. We done broke down the dysfunction, the damage, and the dirty power plays. But this just ain't about exposing the mess. This is about what comes next. Because this ain't a rant, it's a damn roadmap. Let's keep it all the way a buck. This guy can't fix this with the same mindset that broke it. You either move from control to connection, from micromanaging to building real trust, or get out the way. Straight up, it might be time to sell the team. No more waiting it out. No more coach a year carousel. No more scapegoating players for front office failure. If the folks running the Sky can't evolve, then maybe it's time to fold the whole play and run a new one. Imagine this, a new WNBA franchise, maybe under the Chicago Bulls umbrella. Same city, same market, but with real backing, real infrastructure, real investment. No baggage, no chaos, just a clean slate with championship potential. They already got the arena. They already got the market. They got the fan base and the brand loyalty. And all they need now, leadership that's ready to build instead of break. It ain't wild, it's overdue.
You said that, Cess, because these are real solutions, not PR tweets. If they want to fix this, here's the formula. Invest in the culture the same way they invest in physical infrastructure. That means long-term contracts, transparent communication, and actual support for players, brands, not fear of them. Empower the people in the room. Stop micromanaging coaches. Build with your players, not around them. And stop making your most visible back players the narrative scapegoats for management failures. Branding is everything in sports, and the Sky needs to rebrand from the top down, not from the bench out. And at the end of the day, this isn't about one team. It's a blueprint for how the WNBA can grow or shrink based on whether it centers control or collaboration. The question is this: will they evolve, or will they double down on dysfunction until the culture walks out the door again?
Let's call it what it is and shut this down the right way. This ain't on Angel Reese, not even close. What's going down in Chicago ain't about a young star. It ain't about branding, and it damn sure ain't about too much personality. It's about power. It's about ego. It's about a franchise that's been broken from the top down and refuses to change. When you run a team like a dictatorship, when you treat talent like tools instead of people, when control matters more than connection, you're going to lose, period. Over time, that rep you try to spin in the media becomes your record. And right now, the Sky's rep is louder than any press release. It's unstable. It's chaotic. It's anti-player. In this era of sports, reputation is political currency. Mismanage it, and you not only lose the locker room, you lose the city, the sponsors, and the soul of the franchise. If the Sky or any other organization want to rebuild, they got to scrap the whole playbook. Because at the end of the day, culture wins, not control. And until they learn that, they'll keep getting left behind.
Say that, Cess. This episode ain't about one team. It's a case study in what happens when ego outweighs evolution. If the Sky wants to stop the bleeding, it starts with a new mindset. Value trust over power. Choose long-term vision over short-term scapegoat. Build with your players, not around your insecurities. The WNBA has a generational moment right in front of it. New fans, new visibility, and new money. But if franchises like the Chicago Sky don't evolve, they won't just miss the moment. They'll get left behind it.
Facts. Even the Bible tells us reputation matters. A solid name brings favor, earns respect, and holds real influence. And in this game, whether it's the front office or the franchise, your rep is either an asset or a liability. So if you tapped in right now, do what real ones do. Like, share, subscribe. Tell 10 friends and bring 10 more. Drop a comment, tag us, and let folks know CessTalksSports, BWISE PoliSports Tea Time is where the truth lives. And next up, we diving into the WNBA CBA negotiations. Is the league ready to move from control to collaboration, or are they willing to risk losing their top-tier talent just to keep the power structure intact? Because over here, we know sports ain't ever just about the game. It's about the politics behind the plays, and if you're not paying attention, you're already behind. So stay tapped in. Hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. Follow the platforms, run this back, share the combo. Keep your game sharp and your eyes on the system. It's Cess, your favorite auntie with uncle tendencies, and the one and only political Lil. Stay tuned. Talk soon, y'all. We out.